Thanks for joining us today at Unstuck Your Business Podcast.
You went into business with a passion to explore your skills and talents and show the world what you can do to contribute into our society and into our economic ecosystem. But a couple of years into the business and your drive and motivation has dwindled, and now you feel stuck.
When you find yourself at this crossroad of thoughts and emotions, how do you deal with it? In this podcast, we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of entrepreneurship to help you unstuck your business. We are your hosts, Inés Nazario Vega from Business Essentials Virtual Assistants.
And Edith Duran from Reason Marketing. Welcome back to Unstuck Your Business, the podcast where we help entrepreneurs get out of their own way and into momentum. I'm Edith Duran.
And I'm Inés Nazario Vega. And today's episode is a powerful one, especially if you've ever felt stuck chasing success, but not quite knowing how to unlock it.
We're diving into timeless principles from one of the most influential books for entrepreneurs, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. We recently wrapped up a mastermind group built around this book, and let me tell you, the mindset shifts were major.
Today we're answering questions like, what does rich really mean to you? How does fear hold back your business growth? And how you build the kind of persistence that pushes you through setbacks. This is about getting unstuck, not just with strategy, but with your thinking. So grab your notebook because this one is going to shift some things for you. So let's jump in. Edith, thank you for doing this podcast. I think this is going to be one of those that we're going to put in the books because we just wrapped up a mastermind group in where I think all of the members that were participating had a lot of shifts in their mind that changed their business. So let me ask you this question. What does rich really mean to you as a business owner?
Well, Inez, for one thing, I am so glad that we're recording this podcast as well, because honestly, I feel like there's a before I did the Think and Grow Rich Mastermind, and then there's an after. So if you would ask me the same question before I did the mastermind, my rich answer would be, rich meant financial freedom, everything around money and finances. That's what rich means to me. And then after the mastermind group, I realized that what rich really means to me is the ability to enjoy my life to the fullest, whatever that means to me, which for me, it's to be healthy, to have the time to have great experiences with my family, to be able to plan ahead and do great things and invest in something that that I have a big idea for, and just the freedom to do to move and shift and not feel limited by other circumstances. So rich, instead of the financial freedom that I think it meant for me before, today it means freedom.
Well, I so can resonate with what you're saying, Edith, because I think it's the way that we are raised. I think that from childhood to our 20s, we are brought with this set of beliefs of what success means, of what being rich means. And we're told, go to school, get good grades, get a great job, make lots of money. Then, of course, they say to get married, have children. And we tie that to being rich, that financial aspect. Like if you have the nice house, if you have the nice car, if you can travel the world and stay in this luxurious hotels, that's to be rich. Well, that's not to be rich. That's just to have money. There's a difference.
No,
having money and being rich.
Yeah.
No, it's being wealthy, perhaps, yes. But being rich, it's a total, after the mastermind group that we did, it took a completely different tone.
Exactly. And I think that that's the biggest difference for me is, rich in one sense, it can mean that you're perceived as rich, by other people. It's almost like you have to have that validation from other people that say, "Oh, she's rich because she has this, you know, $2,000 handbag and she has these, expensive shoes. So she must be rich." So it's almost like, you know, um, initially rich means that when other people think that you're rich, that's when you're rich. When it's absolutely not that. It's
Mhm.
more an intrinsic um, not feeling and sense about your self-worth and
Mhm.
what you can accomplish.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So, yeah, it takes so many different. Uh, Being rich is different for every person
Hmm.
because for
Yes.
me right now, being rich is to have the freedom to travel the world, and that's
Hmm.
why I decided to assume the digital nomad lifestyle. And for me, being rich is to be able to do that.
And it's
And
incredible. You're doing it. You're
I
doing
just
it.
step out on my, yeah, I just took a leap of faith and just jumped and just do it.
So,
And that to me is a feeling of richness. It doesn't
hmm
necessarily tie in with my balance in my bank account.
hmm so there's
Although I
the
need the
freedom,
funding to afford the lifestyle,
right?
which, quite surprisingly, I'm going to say this to the audience, quite surprisingly, when I did the numbers, I was saving money by adopting this lifestyle
Uh-huh.
versus
Oh,
being
yeah.
set in one place, paying mortgage or rent, utilities, gas, everything in between,
Hmm.
groceries, and what have you. And I have managed to find a way of living and adopting this lifestyle, which is going to be a lot less expensive than the lifestyle that I was living and trapped in.
And you get to have the freedom to live the life that you really have chosen. So that gets
Exactly.
me back to like the very first part of the mastermind, the first excuse me, a couple of chapters
hmm
where we talked a lot, excuse me, about creating our statement of desire.
hmm hmm
How has the clarity and the purpose, or as they call it in the book, this your statement of desire shaped the direction of your business and now of your lifestyle?
It has definitely made an impact on how I do my day-to-day business,
Hmm.
how I live my day-to-day life.
Mm,
Because when you have a very clear statement of desire, when your desire is to make XYZ amount of money, when your desire is to travel the world, when your desire is to build closer relationships with your family, then all the activities, as long as you remind yourself in a regular daily basis about your statement of desires, your day-to-day activity starts to shift
mhm,
in that direction. Like you're gonna start thinking when you're doing something that you have been doing it by routine or just in what I call um automatic pilot mode.
mhm,
Like you wake up, you do your breakfast, you do your meditation, and then off you go and do your activities for the day, whether for business or for family, whatever. When you have that statement of desire up in front, you tend to shift your activities to meet that statement of desire.
mm,
And you're able to filter a lot of things that you used to do and say, okay, this is not as important because it's not close enough to my statement of desire. And let me give you an example. Okay.
mhm,
I tend to be a workaholic at
mhm,
times. Like I'm the type of person that, I start something and I have to finish it. It's just a way that I've been wired for years. With my statement of desire, and where I said, in my statement of desire, I want to have a balance, a work-life balance. Um, Now I'm able to stop in the middle of a project to take a 15 minutes break.
mhm,
Before it was just like, no, I gotta keep going. I gotta keep going until I end this project because that's just the way I was wired.
mhm,
Workaholic, go getter, just do it until you're done. And I found that it's not that I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do when I stop, because that's what's my brain telling me that. Is
mhm,
that, you know what? If I really want to achieve my statement of desire that includes work-life balance, I have to do those stops.
mhm.
Not that I have to, I want to do those stops to align my activities, my daily routinely activities to my statement of desire.
Mhm.
How about you? How the statement of desire has impacted you and your business and your life?
You know, during the mastermind, that first activity that we did where we had to write down how much money we wanted to make. I'll
Mhm,
admit that that was challenging for me to have to put a dollar amount on paper of what I was trying to accomplish. And but then when you dig it deeper and you find out the why, like for me, when I'm digging deeper to get to that root of my motivation or my desire,
mhm,
then things just start to unfold.
mhm,
Because I think initially, I have this business. I love what I do. I love, providing results for my client. It's all very rewarding, and it feels like success already because I'm doing something that I love to do.
mhm,
But within that, is this all I want? Is this what I've desired? Is to do something that is rewarding and that is a desire, yes,
mhm,
but
mhm,
my purpose is much bigger than that, and this exercise really allowed me to see that, like, it allowed me to see that I want to leave a legacy for my children. I want
mhm,
to create something much bigger that has an impact on more people. And without this exercise, I don't think I would have had that root motivation that just opened up my path, the
mhm.
clarity that we're talking about
Absolutely.
here.
Absolutely. And just changing subjects because one of the things that the book does talk a lot about is your network is your net worth.
Hmm.
And why is it important to create your own mastermind group?
Hmm.
And just for audience reference, you know, we did this mastermind group. It was a 14 weeks long
Hmm.
mastermind group. And one of the things that the book talks a lot about, or at least emphasizes, is the importance of being part of a mastermind group or creating a mastermind group. And it is true. This book was written back in the 50s or the 30s. I have to double check. It's been around for a very, very, very long time.
Hmm.
And the principles on these books are timeless. And one of the things that the book says is your network is your net worth. And when you read the book, there's um, success stories after success stories after success stories of people that came out of nothing to become millionaires. And how they did that was by associations,
Hmm.
by creating their network. So, in your opinion, Edith, why is it important to create your own mastermind group from what we learned in the mastermind group sessions and from the book?
Um, something along the same line, something interesting that transpired once you we implemented this, your network is your net worth, is
Mhm,
that I became very conscious about how I'm spending my time, who I'm spending my time with, and
mhm,
and what is my takeaway from that experience. And
mhm,
then I found myself turning down some invitations and then just naturally going to different events. And what that opened up for me is then I started to meet people that were where I want to be, either where I want to be in the next 6 months or where I want to be in the next 10 years. And it, it was so eye opening for me that as soon as I shifted my mindset that, you know, this group of friendships that I have that I've had for a long time, the missing thing that I had was the push to be better.
mhm,
Everything the person I am is acceptable, and if I miss deadlines, it's okay. You're doing the best you can. They're very encouraging, but I got to a point where I'm 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 trying to challenge myself, and challenging yourself goes only so far. You need other
Hmm.
people to challenge you and inspire you. So
Hmm.
yes, why is it important to create your own mastermind group? That's why, because
Yes.
they will inspire you and challenge you to get to that next level of what you can accomplish.
Yes, and that's interesting because there's a saying nowadays, if you want to know where you want to be in 5, 10 years from now, look around who are your five closest person
Hmm.
or people in your life. And that will determine where you're going to be in 5 to 10 years. And
Hmm.
but let's face it, a lot of people it can get a little bit intimidating to meet people at higher rank levels and
Yes.
titles.
Hmm.
And I think from the book, what I gather is the approach that many of these success stories and these people were able to create their network. It was to be bold. You need to start being bold and just introduce yourself to the right people and try to get the connection going. And
Hmm.
I think nowadays it could be just like we are participating a lot in Alignable, and
Hmm.
Alignable offers a lot of virtual networking events. And from there, you may click with somebody that has the level of knowledge, experience of something that you want to achieve. So why not ask them for a now one-on-one virtual meeting? That's something we can now do too. There's Calendly. There's all kinds of ways that you can set up meetings, and now there's Zoom, as we're doing here, to record our podcast. I mean, the tools and resources that we have today to create that network is a lot better than when this book was written, which, by the way, I looked it up. This book was written in 1937.
Wow, that's incredible, and it's still
1937, the original Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill was written in 1937.
and we're still
And
talking about it in
and
2025.
and we're still talking about it in 2000. And like I said, these are timeless lessons. This is timeless wisdom and knowledge. But going back to the creating the network, even grabbing a cup of coffee with someone. And let's face it, a lot of people are super busy, especially people that are in high rank
Hmm.
level. Maybe the strategy can be a little bit different. Maybe asking for an informational interview. And by the way, that's something that I did when I was recruited for leadership positions in different Fortune 500 companies. I
Hmm.
would, I hate to say it, but I didn't follow the normal recruiting process for these
Hmm.
positions.
Hmm.
I will just go after the decision maker, the high rank decision maker for the position, and just very nicely ask them, hey, I want to just pick your brain. Do you have 15 minutes?
Hmm.
Do you have 20 minutes that you can share? I know you're a very busy person, but I really can use your help. Do you have 15 minutes that you can spare?
Hmm.
And you can create the connection from there. And then from there, you can create your network. So
Exactly. And
there's,
it's not that complicated.
we make it complicated
We,
because
right.
our mind is it's so I don't know how to put it, but sometimes our mind is our worst enemy
Yeah.
because we think that a title defines the person.
Hmm.
Oh, the president of XYZ or the CEO of, I don't know, whatever big company, Fortune 500 company you can think of. And immediately our brain is like, oh, I don't know that I can talk to this person. This is too high up. I don't even know how to open the door to build a relationship or to even pick their brain for 20 minutes. I don't know how to, that our mind starts bombarding us with all the limitations.
Hmm.
And but yeah,
No,
if we want to think and grow rich, this is one of the things this book tells us to do.
that's
And it's
right.
very bold about it.
Hmm.
I
And
remember when we were doing the mastermind group, I can't remember if it was specifically Napoleon Hill or another person within his book that had his imaginary council.
oh, that's right. He did have
And
his
his
imaginary
imaginary
council.
council included all these big figures in history. And
Hmm.
where he had learned so much about these people that he would kind of role play in his mind what this person would say about a certain situation that he might be encountering, what this other person would say about it as well, and have his own council meeting.
Hmm.
And this was imaginary,
Yeah,
but
right.
but he still benefited from that.
Yes.
And that
Yeah.
was his network that created his net worth.
Hmm.
Feeling overwhelmed by your to do list? emails, scheduling meetings, managing customer inquiries, social media. The list never ends, but guess what? You don't have to do it all. Let a virtual assistant from Business Essentials Virtual Assistant help you say goodbye to the mundane task of running your business and reclaim your passion over essentials. From administrative tasks, customer support, social media, marketing, and more, we've got you covered. It's like having an extra pair of hands without the overhead. Ready to work smarter, not harder? Visit us today at businessessentialsva.biz. Again, businessessentialsva.biz and get the help you need today.
On the subject of imagination, because this was also something we talked quite a bit about in the mastermind group, is how important is imagination when building your business. And, as in your example, I mean, he literally used imagination to create his network
His
of
board of
people.
directors.
Yeah, his board of directors. So, and maybe you don't have to use creativity in that capacity, but I think the imagination allows you to go a step further without having all of the steps defined. You want to get from here to there, and you may not know exactly every single step to go, but you use your imagination to visualize yourself there, and then it all will open up and fall into place. What do you think? What's your opinion on imagination when you're building your business?
Well, I think imagination is a very fascinating thing. And the reason I say that is because when you imagine things, there's no limits.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can be flying for all you care, and you don't even have wings. You can just be thinking about flying. Your imagination has no limit, no limitations. And yet you can say, oh, but that's unrealistic. How are you going to fly without wings?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, no, this is unrealistic, but it's the process of exercising that part of your brain
Mm-hmm.
that and where you can see yourself in a certain situation, in a certain experience, um, that it has no limits. And the brain is a powerful thing because the brain will then find ways. It's where the creative part comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
It will find ways to fulfill that imagination. I mean, let's take Walt Disney, for example. A lot of people made fun of him for how long he went back bankrupted. And
Mm-hmm.
who doesn't know Walt Disney today and everything that he accomplished from imagination?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, back in the days, we didn't imagine flying a plane,
Right.
but somebody did. Somebody had that imagination. That was
Mm-hmm.
unrealistic for many, many years. And here we are.
And yep, someone had that imagination and had that determination. But
Hmm.
let me play devil's advocate for just a moment. Do you believe that imagination is a necessary piece for to be a successful entrepreneur? Meaning that, perhaps there's an entrepreneur that is excellent with academics. They're great at numbers, they're great at writing, they're great at, all of these pieces, they're great at relationships. They're not that creative.
Hmm.
Do you think it's necessary to be a successful entrepreneur?
It absolutely is. Because he doesn't have to imagine doing things that he's not equipped or talented to do, but
Mm-hmm.
he can imagine who his teammates are going to be that can take care of that to put his business at the next level.
Mm-hmm.
So imagination still will play a role, even if he or she doesn't feel that they are naturally talented to do a specific role within their business to take it to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
I think imagination, all it does is gives you that room for creativity after. You imagine the world you want to be in. You imagine the business you want to have. You imagine the relationship you want to be in. And then everything else from a creative point starts to um, take effect. Like you start what we call today manifesting things
Mm-hmm.
into it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm going to take again my example of a nomad digital lifestyle. I imagined this years ago, actually, because I love to travel. And for those who know me, know that I have visited. I'm going next month to Dubai
Mm-hmm.
in June. It's going to be my country number 30th. in my world travels.
Wow.
And I left the world traveling after having my daughter because I was in the international marketing arena and I was able to travel while doing my career. Once I had my daughter, well, of course, other things take priority. But I never left the imagination of traveling the world again.
Hmm.
I will always talk about it. It's like I can't wait until I can go back to travel and go to places I have not visited
Hmm.
around the world. I love to immerse myself in different cultures and meet different people and just be lost in the world. But
Hmm.
that's in my head, in my
Right.
imagination.
Uh-huh.
And yet, here I am again, years after, jumping and walking into that imagination.
That's where it starts.
It
You
all
had
starts
to
at the
have,
imagination.
yeah, you had to
And
imagine it and before you could put all the
mhm,
pieces together.
absolutely, absolutely. And I won't say about all these other big projects that I do plan to get myself involved, but they're all in my head, and I'm already putting the pieces of the puzzle together. Like, who am I
Yes.
going to talk to? How much money I'm going to need for it?
Hmm.
Um, what are the steps I'm going to need to take? But it's all here in my head. My imagination is the big picture. It's you know,
Hmm.
the one that everybody thinks like, oh my gosh, she's crazy. This is Walt Disney all over again. Um, but you have to have that to get to from point A to point B.
So when you're in these steps of, creating your life, or even before you even started and seriously putting it together, where you're leaving your stable home place where you have a routine every day, to traveling and knowing that you're going to be going to different locations, did you ever have doubt set into your mind saying, this is crazy, there's no way this is ever going to work, how am I going to, manage whatever you're telling yourself? Because one of the other aspects of the book is using auto suggestions, which is like affirmations. Is that
Mhm.
something that you used, or did you not really have doubt setting in for yourself?
Um, Listen, we're human. Girl, we are humans.
Hmm.
And doubt is going to set in at one point or another. You know, uh, whether it be because you're lacking the finances to do what you intended to do, whether it be some health issues that may come across.
Hmm.
Um, like in my case, I had, that my mom passed away not too long ago, but you know, I was planning to be the caretaker. So those are bumps in the roads, as I call them, bumps in
Hmm.
the roads that will definitely limit what you can do when it comes to what you imagine.
Hmm.
But I do believe in the power of autosuggestion, as you said. I do believe in
Hmm.
the affirmations. I do believe in attracting things by the way you feel and the way you think and the way you imagine things. And so to answer your question, yes, self-doubt, I think as human beings, there's always going to be some self-doubt. We are not born with a full confidence on everything that we can accomplish or do. And the power of auto-suggestion is definitely key on how we can accomplish
Hmm.
and manifest what we see in our imagination.
Hmm.
What is your take on that?
I absolutely think the power of auto suggestion is necessary
Hmm.
to implement some sort of practice. Either in the morning you wake up and you look in the mirror and say, I am unstoppable, or you write down in your journal something repetitive, or you just have that moment of where you have to step back from a situation that might seem impossible and say, no, I'm giving this challenge because I am the one that needs to take it on. It can take all of these forms, but they're absolutely necessary because, as you know, running a business is not easy and it's not for
Hmm.
the faint of heart.
Absolutely
And,
not.
there's other roles in life, that that you can take on, aside from running a business. that will bring you joy in life. But if running a business is really your dream and something you know that you have to do, there are going to be those moments that come up, and you may have even more moments of doubt than you have of clarity. And that's when, that's why it's auto suggestion. It has to come
Mhm.
automatically. It has to come from within. You have to, practice it so much that um, it's a tool, it's a mechanism that you're using to get
Mhm.
past your doubt. So I
Mhm.
think it's such a huge part of your success in business, your success in life, your success in your own personal goals,
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
have those affirmations as part of your toolbox.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for the benefit of our audience that is listening, I think it merits to give them the definition of auto
Mhm,
suggestion. And the auto suggestion, what it is, it's the process of reading your subconscious mind.
mhm,
It's just because from a conscious standpoint, there's where all the limitations are. But
mhm,
also from the subconscious mind, there can be blocks too,
mhm,
things that have been embedded in us since we were little kids. Mindsets and behaviors and things that have been embedded in us that have moved from the conscious to the subconscious, but they still have effect on how we behave and what we do. So
mhm,
auto suggestion is really the process of feeding that subconscious mind intentional thoughts or beliefs through repetition. That's
mhm,
in a nutshell, that's what auto suggestions or affirmations, as some people may call it, the daily affirmations. That's what that is. Which, by the way, we do have a podcast episode about affirmations in which we encourage our audience to listen to. Is our podcast number 34. It's a podcast that we did with Elsie Mendez, and it's titled Harnessing Affirmations. And we definitely encourage our audience to listen to that specific podcast to learn on how to set your affirmations and how to use them. So, in this benefit of time, Edith, because we like to keep our podcast to 30 minutes.
mhm.
What would you say are the three main takeaways from our topic today?
Well, the first takeaway I would say, for our audience is start with clarity. Start with defining what rich means to you, and create your statement of desire. Um, and really drill down deep, and
Mm-hmm.
get clear on what motivates you to desire this. Because getting to that root, that why, is going to be what you keep coming back to, what you keep falling back on when you're faced with challenges. So clarity and
Mm-hmm.
having that clear statement of what you desire is your first key to think and grow rich. And then,
Absolutely, absolutely. That why, that sense of the why. Why are we doing this? Why exactly are we getting up every morning and going through the hustle and trying to make things happen? What is our drive? What's fueling us
mhm.
to get from point A to point B?
What would you say our second takeaway would be
I would say
in
vision.
this?
Just there's. I'm a person of faith. I read my Bible, and there is a scripture that says, "People without vision perish."
Mm, mhm,
People without vision perish. And I so believe in that. If you don't have a reason to wake up every day and you don't have a vision, then you're existing. You're not living.
mhm,
That's not a rich life. That's not a think and grow rich lifestyle for sure. So
mhm,
you do have to have that vision. What is your vision? And then with that, create your affirmations to align with that vision and to align with your statement of desire and to keep you focused so that day by day you can continue to do the right activities that align with what you want to achieve at the end of the day.
mhm.
So that I would say is our number two takeaway is have that vision. And call
Yes,
it vision, call it imagination, call it whatever, but just have it in your head, a vivid picture of where and what you want to do.
I couldn't agree more. And I think for our last takeaway, the third takeaway would be your network is your net worth.
Mm-hmm.
How important it is to create your own mastermind group, either be it with real people imaginary people or people that you love to follow because you like the message that you're getting. And I'll give you just a simple example of that is, you and I are in the same network. And as you know, if you've listened to this podcast before, you may have heard this, that Inez was really the one that pushed me to launching this podcast. I was still in the weeds of, is our branding right? Do we have our format right? Before we launch. And she just pushed me to get past that to actually get started. Let's just get started and, figure it out as we
along the
go.
way.
Exactly. And so I feel so fortunate to have Inez in my network of, my board of directors, because it has just flourished more and more opportunities for me. So I thank Inez for that. And, and the other people that have influenced me to challenge myself and get on the other side of that and do that continuously. So yes, your network is your net worth.
And you know what? It's important to mention that even in the book, they say they don't all have to be business related. You can have a relative, a friend, somebody that you look up to, that you think of them as wise people that can help you gear yourself in the right direction. Those people can be part of your mastermind group. They can be part of your what we call board of directors. Some people may have the wisdom in finance. Another one may have the wisdom and the knowledge and the talent for marketing. Another one may have the wisdom, knowledge, and talent for operations of a business. And that they don't need to like really know each other. It can be a friend, it can be a business colleague, it could be your spouse can be part of your council, but do have in mind who these people are that you can go to different things that you want to address when it comes to thinking and growing rich. And for those who wants to learn more about Mastermind, we do have an episode in this very podcast, episode number 47. I will really encourage our audience to listen to our episode number 47, Mastermind, because it does talk about the specifics on how to create, how to manage, and the benefits of mastermind groups.
Yes, definitely. I'll have a link to both episodes that we referenced today, the one with Elsie Mendez and the mastermind episode. It'll be in our show notes for easy access.
Fantastic. And to everyone listening, we hope today's episode gave you some serious food for thought and maybe even helped you uncover a mindset block or two that's been holding your business back.
And remember, success starts from the inside out. If Think and Grow Rich taught us anything, it's that belief, clarity, and persistence are not optional. They are essential.
So if you enjoyed this conversation, make sure to subscribe to Unstuck Your Business on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode.
And we'd love to hear your takeaways. Join us in our Facebook group where we keep the conversation going and support each other through the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. You don't have to do this alone.
So thanks for listening, and we'll catch up in our next episode.
If you're hearing this message, you've listened to the entire episode, and for that, we want to thank you. Let us know what you think about today's topic by leaving us a comment and a review of our podcast.
And if you found some value on the information shared in this podcast, please subscribe and share. And you can find us on our Facebook page, Unstuck Your Business, and join the conversation and engage with other entrepreneurs as together we help each other unstuck our business. Until next time.
Until next time.